My name is Simon Bennett, and I'm from London. And before I get going with my talk, I'd really just like to see raise some hands and possibly shout, because last night I heard a lot of voices. Who here is to actually make a difference? Who here wants to make a change to this world, no matter how big or small? One. Come on, more. Who else? Nah, that's a bit disappointing. Can we try again? Who's here to actually make a change? There we go. Okay, fantastic. Look, that's what I wanted to hear. Look, I'm not here to preach to you about what kind of change you should make. That's a decision that I think really remains up to you. That should be personal, and I'll leave that to you guys. What I'm here to talk about is technology. I'm here to talk about two different pieces of technology that have changed my life and that have shaped my entrepreneurial world over the past 8 years. So, I'm from London, hence the fish and chips, and I'm from a small borough in London called Lewisham. And Lewisham is a very poor, dilapidated borough. There's lots of problems with poor housing, with gangs, and young people really falling through the cracks of society. And one of the things of growing up there was really sort of having to deal with a lot of problems that possibly you wouldn't see in other places around the world. And I'll go into some of those issues in a bit. I'm going to tell you a bit about myself. I was a terrible failure at school. In fact, I failed almost all of my classes at school, and my teachers said that I'd probably never amount to anything. The jury's still out on whether I've done anything of any success. But I found myself sat in classes, and I would look at the teachers' mouths, and they'd be moving their lips, and they'd be talking to the class, and I'd just be thinking about something else. And I'm sure there's people now who are looking at my lips, but they're not listening to me at all. They're thinking about their phone, or they're thinking about what they're going to have for dinner later on. That's fine. And in fact, it's really important to let your mind wander sometimes. But later in life, I was diagnosed with a condition very similar to ADHD. ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And it means that your mind is, it's very hard for it to stay on task and very, very hard for you to actually concentrate on anything. It was very hard for me to concentrate on anything until I found this. I found music, I found the guitar, and I found a real sense of purpose. I found something to keep my mind on. And at school I would go and I'd play music, and I would get involved with bands and things like that. But our teachers would kick us out of the practice rooms because the guitar, as we all know, is the instrument of the devil. Oh no, it's the instrument of revolution, and it doesn't fit in with the classical education that we were meant to get for music. So I was kicked out of these rooms, and it was very frustrating. And the way that creativity was taught in schools 15 years ago in the UK really frustrated me, and it played into some of the things that I've ended up doing in my life. So there's two things there. There's concentration, there's the ADHD thing, and there's creativity and how that's dealt with in schools. So I went to university. Who here is at university? Anybody? Okay, a few people. Good. I went to university, and at the end of my first year, I failed every single module. Yay! Come on! Woo! Success, great success. Not really. I failed every single module at school and at university, and mainly thanks to drinking, girls, and computer games. So, however, at the end of that first year, I was introduced to the first piece of technology that really changed my life. The first piece of technology that made a massive difference to where I've now ended up. And that is this. This is the PowerBook G4 titanium laptop. You might be thinking, it's a laptop, I've got a laptop. Well, in 2001, when I was 21, there were only a few laptops around, and this laptop, which still looks absolutely stunning today, it's probably as good as the PowerBooks that are coming out at the moment. It's a gorgeous piece of design. These laptops were, well, pretty groundbreaking. There was nothing like them. All of the other laptops tended to be part of sort of office, the office kind of suite. These had three main, very exciting features. One, they were not a big cat. They were fast. And they were so fast that they were able to run music programs. Out and about, we could run music programs. They were 500 megahertz, 256 RAM. Now, nowadays, I don't think you could probably buy a laptop that slow, but back then, it was incredibly fast, and it opened up a number of opportunities to us. Also, you could pop it in a bag, and you could wander around, and you could engage with creative multimedia wherever you were. This was immensely exciting, and in fact, for me, this formed a number of very exciting ideas in my mind about some of the opportunities that I could engage with later on in life. So, we have technology. Fantastic. Also, we have a problem. It's not fire, and it's not, it's not young people burning things. It's young people in the UK, where I was from, in London, not engaging in society because of local turf wars, because of postcode wars. And this is where we had young people who were too scared to go out from their tower blocks and go over the road to the other tower block where the youth centre might be, because they might get stabbed, they might get beaten up, they might get shot. And there's a real problem that we had to deal with. On top of that, at the same time, at university, I was engaging in music workshops with some of these types of young people. And another problem that we encountered whilst running these workshops was we had to pick up the equipment and we had to take it over to the workshop, and we had to set it all up. We ran the workshop, and then we packed it all down and put it away. And we spent more time taking the equipment to the workshop than we did actually running the workshop itself. It was a terribly inefficient and ineffective way of delivering sort of education to these kinds of young people. So, the light bulb moment. Oh! This was in Morocco in 2001. I was traveling with some friends, and we were sat down one night, and I came up with an idea so stupid that people around me told me that I should probably just shut up and give it a rest. The idea was to take a VW camper van. Who knows of these? Has anyone seen one of these before? Yeah, oh, okay, no one's seen them then. Okay, fine. This is a VW camper van, and we had this great idea to put a little mini studio with a laptop into one of these. Now, the plan would be to drive it around to the neighborhoods where these young people couldn't go out of their neighborhoods and teach them music production and creative multimedia. So, 4 years later, 4 years of hard, arduous work later, we accomplished the following. The lab. Having been told by everyone that this was probably never going to work, we built this. This is a multimedia bus which travels around Lewisham, the borough that I grew up in. And the bus has a very exciting multimedia suite where young people can go and learn music, they can go and learn video game design, they can go and learn animation. And this became one of the most successful projects in Lewisham over the past 5 years. In fact, we've worked with over 5,000 young people, and a lot of the young people now, they feel like the bus is part of their own group, they're part of themselves. Many of you will have seen the riots that happened in the UK very recently over the summer. Well, our bus wasn't smashed up because the young people believed that it was part of their community and they didn't want to smash it up, which was a fantastic accolade. And a lot of these young people now work as volunteers or actually have jobs on our bus. So, technology, problem, solution. I'm not academic, as you'll all know, because I failed everything in life. But I've come up with an equation. It's the only equation I've ever come up with, and I'm really excited about it. And I want this to soak into you today. I'm going to tell you it about 3 or 4 times so you don't forget it. Technology advance, such as the laptop, plus a problem, such as young people not engaging with society, not getting off their local areas, plus a little bit of creative thinking, a little bit of light bulb moment, plus hard work, sorry, not plus, times hard work. Don't forget that time, no, squared. More work, lots more work, really hard work, and we get our solution. In this case, the lab. Now on top of this though, I'd like to appeal to all of the entrepreneurial spirits out there. If you have one main objective and you work very hard to achieve that objective, in most cases there will be a number of rather exciting byproducts. And if you can be entrepreneurial about those byproducts, and if you can seek out social opportunities of where you can help in other places, then actually the solution that you came up with might actually end up being smaller than the overall picture that you come out with at the end. So for me, this was Rolling Sound, a company that I set up at university just after the year that I failed. I kind of got my act together, I really put some work in, and I made this my major project. And there was 2 of us running this company for the past 8 years. 2 of us in my bedroom, working away at this business, and it's the same technology. Laptops, taking the laptops to young people who don't have anything, who haven't got any facilities, and delivering courses. So that was the plan, that's what we did. Now, there was 2 of us back in 2003. Last year, 2011, there were 100 employees. So we grew to 100 people. We had 25 full-time staff and 75 tutors teaching all over London. We worked with over 50,000 young people over the past 8 years. 50,000. And we delivered a massive amount of change all over London. So we didn't just work in Lewisham, we worked all over. Because we had a laptop, or a whole fleet of laptops, we ended up having 250, we could go anywhere. And that was the freedom that the technology enabled us. And here's a picture from one of our school courses. We started branching out into a number of different multimedia elements. This is a photography course that we did. One of the many exciting projects that we did was set up the David Beckham Academy. And 2 years ago, I spent quite a long time with golden balls. I'm just at the end there, he's in the middle. It's not a cardboard cutout. And I went to his birthday party and we spoke at length about what he wanted to achieve from the academy, and we achieved some fantastic results over a period of 3 years. So here's the team, this is the Rolling Sound gang. And the one thing I would like to tell you, if you're going to set something up around technology or anything, always surround yourself by people who are better than yourself. I'm a bit of a failure, but if you surround yourself by lots of successful and creative and clever people, then you'll probably succeed. So I'd like now to talk about one of the innovations that we came up with while we were at Rolling Sound, which was delivering computer games courses, computer game design courses to young people. So these courses were the first of their kind in the UK, that nothing like them had ever been seen, and we worked with people who could make computer games, and we created a bunch of courses where young people could come along and very easily make their own levels, create their own characters, create all of their own assets. It was a very exciting course. And as a byproduct of that, another exciting byproduct of the crazy entrepreneurial world was Roll7. And Roll7 is a company that's been running for 4 years, and the primary aim of Roll7 is to develop socially responsible games. And what we mean by socially responsible games is games that are aimed to make a difference. MaD games. So one of such game would be this, Dead Ends. Dead Ends is a game that we made. It was a game that was made by young people of London. We had a big problem with knife crime recently around London, and what we did is we took a great group of young people from all over London, creative young people, to create the scripts, write the soundtrack, create the assets, do all of the coding, and create their own game. And this game was then used by police and school teachers to engage young people about the issue of knife crime. So we took these young people and we then gave a lot of them jobs and created sort of almost like a, trying to think how you'd explain it. It's a bit like an after-school club that just is your job. So for a lot of these young people, they ended up just doing what they like to do after school. I'd now like to finish with the second piece of technology that changed my world. We've had one so far, which was the laptop. This is the second piece of technology that changed my world. And this is the Neurosky mindset. And the Neurosky mindset can read your brains. No one looking scared? Okay, maybe this is all, you have lots of these in Hong Kong already? No? Okay, right, so this is new. Is this new? Yes, okay, fantastic. So the correct term for this is a non-invasive dry biosensor electroencephalogram. Do you want to say that? No? Okay, we'll leave it. Basically, the headset can read concentration, so how much you're focusing. It can also read relaxation, so how much you're relaxing. The headset is also more attractive than a shower cap with some Smarties on it, which is handy. It's a lot cheaper as well. It's wireless, and it's a lot cheaper. I've already said that. But it's less than $100 US for a headset that can read your mind. A pretty impressive accolade. And when you're looking at technology and you're looking at how to appropriate technology for new projects and entrepreneurialism, price is a really key factor, because there's no point coming up with a solution for Africa if it costs £500,000 a pop. Yeah? So we've got the oh, hang on. This is my old presentation. Oh well, no worries. We've got the problem. So the problem was ADHD. I mentioned it earlier, this problem with focusing and concentrating. We were approached by the University of Wollongong in Australia, and they had a whole load of research around exercises that they created to help young people concentrate using the headset and using a number of other cognitive exercises. So what we did is we sat down with them and we had a light bulb moment, and we came up with Pocus. And this game, it's very exciting. It turns all of these exercises, it gamifies them, and it turns them into really exciting exercises that are all wrapped in games. So you're a wizard, you're fighting dragons, you're turning pigs into trumpets, you're fighting wizards, you're growing flowers, etc., etc. A number of really exciting things. And for younger kids, this game has been really, really successful in engaging them in what are pretty boring tasks over a longer period of time. On top of that, parents can look into how their children are doing, check in, make sure that they're improving, and if they're not, they can then engage with that as well. So this was our solution for that. I mentioned byproducts. Well, the byproduct of this particular technology for us as an organization is that your neighbors, well, give or take 5 hours, Singapore, have funded us to run an office over in Singapore because we are now considered the world's leading developer for brain-computer interface technology on a consumer level. So somehow we've sort of diverted and got to all of these different exciting things. I'm really here to try and tell you that these things are important. If you can remember how many technical advances are happening in your lifetime, literally in the last 4 weeks, if you guys can just engage with some of those, if you can look at all of the problems, I'm sure you're going to be engaged with a number of problems over this weekend. You saw a lot of them last night. If you can get some creative thinking, if you can have a few light bulb moments, and if you can times that by some hard work, then I'm really sure that you're going to be able to come up with the future. My name's Simon Bennett. It's been absolutely fascinating coming to Hong Kong. It's my first time here. I'd love to speak to any of you if you're interested, if you have any kind of questions. Thank you so much for your time.